Hey guys, it's Gina here from orchidandopal.com. How is everyone doing? I have the September Bargain Bead Box here for 2025 ready to open up. So let's go ahead and get into it. Running on some cookies and caffeine currently. I've got some brand new glasses on. But you know what? There's no time like the present to open this up. So let's dig in and see what we have inside. First of all, let's see. I did look at the sneak peek that Lauren put out, what was it, last week? And I'm so excited. So this is called Sweater Weather, the Sweater Weather collection. There are, look at this, 22 items total on the list. And this is a subscription that ships for $22.99 per month. If you're in the US, there's no additional shipping charge. If you do sign up today, by the way, the link will be down below in the description section. If you do sign up today, I believe you'll get the next month or the following month's subscription package, so not this particular one. However, they do have a sister store where you can shop previous items, and sometimes they'll put past collections and subscription packages on their website. You can go back and pick those up at beadboxbargains.com. In addition to that, if you are a subscriber, you can also get a discount code. They send you a coupon that comes on the back of this list every single month. It's a great opportunity to do a little extra shopping, and sometimes they have some supplemental items that go really well with the subscription. But this today, what we have here, 22 items for $22.99. That's just such a great value. We're going to see some gemstones and some coordinating findings in antique bronze. And it looks like, from what I could tell in the sneak peek, we've got some burgundy, a little bit of blue, just some gorgeous fall colors. Make you all cozy and snuggly. So let's go ahead. As you can see, this organza bag is chock full of all sorts of things. And we're going to open all of this up together. I'm seeing some nice surprises in here. All right. I'll try to go in order. We'll see how it goes. All right, so the first item, there goes one on the floor. Our first item is a strand of 8mm petrified wood matte round beads. It says it's a 15-inch strand. And as you can see, that's like the retail value right there on the bag. It says at the bottom of our list, the estimated retail for this entire shipment is $94.78. So it is a great deal. Let me see if I can get that. That's better. Oh my gosh, this is gorgeous. Look at this petrified wood. It's got all different tones, warm and cool. There's lots of gray, some tan, a little bit of burgundy, some mauve. There's different textures, textural elements, striations inside each of these beads. It's really, really interesting. And it looks like you can combine these with, you know, all sorts of different colors, as they've suggested here with the subscription package. Some burgundy, deep blue is gorgeous, but we are off to a great start with this strand. All right, number 2, let's see, is the one I dropped. And it contains 2 pieces of 30mm mahogany obsidian wavy flat round beads. So these are some, what I would consider a focal. My goodness, those are stunning. Focus. So you can see that deep reddish brown. There's a beautiful sheen to these, and just the slightest wavy shape, which is kind of cool because it catches the light, that extra glossy finish. And you can see there is a hole that runs through the center of the bead going up and down through the length. Absolutely stunning. So 30 millimeters, that's a really good size, good pendant size. You can use these with wire for sure. I mean, I would even do a beaded bezel around something like that. Absolutely stunning. I like the contrast of that black on the reddish brown as well. So these will all be just slightly different, obviously, because they are natural materials. But how cool is that to get 2 of these in a box with this price point? All right, so number 3, we're looking for some mahogany obsidian. And I think I just saw that. Here it is. No, that's the agate. Here it is. The 4 millimeter mahogany obsidian round beads. It's another 15-inch strand. Wow, that's really nice. So we have some of these 4 millimeter rounds that will coordinate with our wavy flat discs, which is great. That's gonna really tie in those focals. Very long 15-inch strand once again, and a good mix of the reddish brown and glossy black. Okay, next up, we have some textured agate. Where are they? I think that is these, the 7-inch strand of brown textured agate. These are dyed. And they are a 6 millimeter size. So bringing in some of the sandy brown and caramel, a little bit of that creamy bone color, but also having some spots of black that you can see on the mix here of the different colors in this agate. So kind of lightening up the palette a little bit, but also bringing in even more stone material to our contents. Next up, we've got some bronzite, a bag of 12 pieces of 10 millimeter bronzite matte round beads. They're a little dusty in there, but that's okay. These have a very natural look to them, definitely a very deep brown color overall, just a little bit of variation though, an interesting texture. They've got a good solid weight and a cold feel to the touch, and just certain areas with a little bit lighter brown, again, that just really brings in another natural material to this palette. And I can really see where they're going for this fall theme. All right, up next, bring in, it looks like some blue. 6 pieces of glass flower beads in navy. That'd be these, I think. So these were in that sneak peek video, and I was automatically taken with them, especially with what they have mixed these with this month. Sorry about my lighting, it's being a little funny. All right, so we've got 6 of these 24 by 26 millimeter glass flower beads in navy blue. And I just love them because, I don't know, they're so different. And also I think as we take a look at some of the findings and metallic components that they've included this month, you might get some great ideas just looking at how you might be able to combine these things in different ways. But what's interesting is they are kind of a wide, flat type of glass bead with the hole going through the center, which kind of lends itself to stacking maybe some different sizes, or even just a simple round inside there. And it's got a slightly concave shape, so it'll hold that in place. And I like the mixture of those metallic areas also in the deep blue. Kind of transparent, as you can see. And those petals are pressed with some of those extra details. But again, you get 6 pieces of these. It's very generous for the price. All right, we bring in a little bit more navy too with the next selection. It says this bag contains 10 pieces of 10.5mm glass flower beads in navy blue. Clearly these will coordinate with our other flowers. Very cool. So another really interesting shape, very different, and dare I say challenging shape, but you know, I'm up for a challenge. We'll see what we all come up with. But definitely something you could wire wrap for sure, once again, especially because of, I don't know, just that chunky shape that they have, I think. The hole runs through the center, and you could even bead around the bottom of that cup shape. You could do a lot of different things with these. But I really like the addition of more of this transparent but deep blue and how these coordinate with those wavy discs. Definitely has me thinking. I don't know about you. Okay, so we're only on number 8 out of 22. We have next a 7-inch strand of 8 by 6mm glass barrel beads in dark coral. Definitely these right here. Beautiful red to go with our palette. All right. So as it says, that really deep coral red, and it's smooth, shiny on the outside. They are barrel shaped, so they're kind of flat on either side where the hole's located and rounded around that middle portion. Nothing extra going on, but mainly these will be great to add in that pop of red color to the palette. All right, let's see what we have. Number 9 are the faceted bicone beads in opaque gray. All right, classic glass bicones. These are still kind of sparkly even though they are opaque, and they do bring out especially some of the gray, I think, in that petrified wood that we saw at first. Just a really warm, cozy palette. So many things we can do with the bicones, of course. If you want to string these, use them as spacers. And they do kind of break up some of the other brighter colors, adding in that little bit of light gray. And then next, number 10, we've got, I think that's this one, a 7-inch strand of 6mm crystal faceted fancy cube beads in light steel blue. Ooh. Oh, these are super sparkly. Look at that. Oh my goodness. I love how sparkly those are. So those are very eye-catching. They are still a little bit chunky, but look at the gorgeous faceting they have all around the outside on each surface, that cube shape, and just the hint of grayish blue that shows up, especially if you turn them in certain ways under the light. So really nice balance between some of our earthier, you know, more organic materials. This kind of makes everything feel just a little bit more fancy. Beautiful. Okay, so Now we're on bag number 11. This is an 8-inch strand of 6x4mm crystal faceted rondelle beads in matte steel blue. All right, so a little bit more blue. Oh, those kind of glow. So pretty, look at that. You can see that mixture, that combination on each of those beads of the gray and the deep blue. Beautiful variety, a little bit of faceting, kind of matte and frosty. Lots of beads here to work with. Another shape and size introduced into our collection of beads this month. As usual, they do such a great job every month with their variety. You can do so many things with all of these beads. It's a fun surprise every month. Next up is number 12. The pattern, oh yeah, these were on the preview. These are the patterned wood pendants with brass chain accent. 2 pieces. These are so fun, just how they are. Very much fall-like too. And they include the chain. I mean, automatically you could just use these as a pair of earrings how they are. And you could definitely spice them up however you want, you know, add extra beads hanging on the sides there, even down from the jump rings if you wanted to. You know, you could go crazy. But already they have a beautiful design that's etched into that wood. Beautiful, rich brown color. And I like the fact that they are the same on both sides. They really look good from all angles. And they're kind of light too. They're lightweight. So even though they're a larger size and they'd make for some larger earrings, they wouldn't weigh your ears down too much. Really, really cute. All right. Moving along, next we have 20-gram glass bead mix. You guys know I love a good bead mix. All right, so in this bag here, it says, yeah, 20 grams of glass beads in Autumn Hearth. Looks like a lot of different things to check out in here. Different shapes and colors, kind of a bead soup. Again, you could kind of sort through that and use different colors, different beads, depending on what you're doing with these. Use them as fun little spacers or some type of a bead soup embroidery. Great in wire. I have lots of things I'm picturing you could do with this mix, which is so fun. You know, if you just need a few beads here and there. And I like the fact that it brings in some of that golden color right there. A little bit of that warm neutral. But there's also different grays, red, a lot going on inside. And that's not even the whole bag. I just dumped out maybe 2/3 of it. All right, bag number 14. Looks like we're gonna start getting into our metallic components more now. So starting with the 10 pieces of 33 millimeter, filigree flower components in antique bronze. 10 pieces, 10. I don't know how they do it. And they're pretty sturdy. Filigree is another one of those things. You know, these subscription packages, they are great, obviously, for DIY jewelry, but if you're into other crafting too, I mean, they are full of all sorts of interesting additional possibilities. So we have these discs I mean, I love bead weaving, especially, you all know that. So I'm automatically thinking, like, how could I combine this with, I don't know, even those obsidian pendants in some way, making this kind of a backdrop for something, using all those openings inside to connect onto. So many things you can do with these. And even you could snip some of these different designs out if you wanted to go really crazy. But you have 10 pieces to work with, so you have plenty. If you make a mistake, that's just really, really neat that they include so many of those. And it looks like our next item is going to coordinate so well with those. They are quite large, but this next bag contains 48mm filigree flower components in antique bronze, and there's 4 pieces in this large size. My goodness. Look at this. So let's see comparison to the pendant. So I don't know, you could do some really interesting things with wire wrapping, adding these in as some sort of backdrop, I think. Can't wait to see what everybody does with these filigree components. And the front is a little bit more finished off looking than the back. It's just a classic brass stamping. These larger ones, they have a little bit more pliability than the smaller ones, but still they will hold up pretty well. As long as you don't purposely, you know, try to bend them. So that is really neat. We still have a number of things to look at before we're finished. Bag number 16, looks like we've got 10 pieces of 10mm glass pattern matte round beads in slate blue iris. Here we go. So got that slate blue design around the outside of these frosty grayish glass beads. Again, they bring another size to the collection here to work with and combine that gray and the blue together and that little swirly detail. These look like they would go really well, especially with those matte gray and blue rondelles that we looked at. All right, so number 17, we've got some floral chandelier links. Looks like these. Another bag full of goodies. All right. Yeah, I believe that's what these are. These are the 23 by 19mm floral chandelier links in antique bronze. And they have 2 different sides. They have a floral shape, like this, I'll call that the front, with the 3 loops at the bottom, but also these petals are open as well, which you could use. They have a loop at the top, so you could use those for a chandelier earring link or a multi-strand bracelet or necklace. And then on the back, it's more plain, but you could even use that for some type of a glue-in cabochon or something domed that could fit in there, or a crystal as another possibility, or even some resin. I'm always looking at those possibilities. So even more metal components combined with all of our lovely earthy beads. Alrighty, so next up is our bag containing 10 pieces of 24 by 18mm floral medallion links in antique bronze. These are medallions, are round shape, coordinate well with those other medallions, the stamped brass filigree, the generous quantity, and these do appear to be the same on both the front and the back. Lots of openings. Again, I'm sorry about the lighting. It's all weird. It's not too bad when I don't move as much. I can get it right. But anyway, we've got 10 pieces. There is a loop on either side of those round shapes that are pretty flat, but with all those different openings, ready to go for wire or whatever you want to do, or just leave them plain and add them to a stringing project, breaking up some of your beaded portions. Okay. Let's see here. Next up, we have 50 pieces of daisy spacer beads. I won't take these out of the bag. They're more of a basic item along with the rest of what we have here, but generous 50 pieces of these in the coordinating antique brass. They are a 6.5 millimeter size and just a thin slice and a great addition to our contents. Number 20 is a bag containing 10 grams of dotted 8-point bead caps. Look how many are in there. My goodness. All right, so as you can see, they have that dotted shape like it says in the description. And let's see, 10 grams, gonna see how large they are. But anyway, they have 8 points and they are very sturdy. And so many of these would go a long way. I just like getting these additional metal components too to add to my collection of findings, because you can always pull those out later. You never know when you can use these. All right, getting down to the wire, we've got bag number 21, 2 sets of, it says ornate, patterned, round toggle clasps. 2 of those. Got 2 bars and 2 loop portions with our dotted details and the swirly details over there. And these are the same on both sides. And another component you could use as a clasp or as something else, combining these elements to make a pendant or using these as a connector in some way. All right, so our last bag, another one of those things that's just great to have on hand. It is a bag containing a meter of 7 by 3.5 and 4 by 3 millimeter Figaro jewelry chain. Whole meter. So if I can stretch that out a little bit, you can see the variation in the sizes of those links. So you have those larger sections and then several smaller ones linked together to make that Figaro chain, and enough in here to use in multiple projects. Of course, all of these findings and metals coordinating, and they look great with the color palette of beads. So that is everything we have for this month for the September 2025 Bargain Bead Box. Look at all those items. This is going to be really fun to play with. I can't wait to dig into it. And especially I'm excited about the metal stampings, the obsidian, those round discs. I love those wood earring findings. Those are really cute. The seed bead mix. So another great collection from Bargain Bead Box. Well done. And I can't wait to hear what you guys think. If you'd like to leave a comment down below, feel free to do that. And I just look forward to seeing what everyone's up to. Feel free to share your ideas down below as well. And I hope to come back with some finished pieces later. We'll see once I've had a chance to play around with all this. So thank you so much, you guys, for joining me for this unboxing. If you enjoyed it, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. Also subscribe while you're here. And I hope to see you all again real soon. And until next time, have a fabulous rest of your day. And as always, happy beading.